Auburn 44, Ole Miss 23. Game notes October 7, 2017 recap final stats quotes photo gallery number 12 Auburn vs. Ole Miss October 7, 2017 Jordan-Hare Stadium Auburn, Alabama Game notes Captains Austin Golson, Braden Smith, Trey Williams Weather 80 degrees, scattered clouds at kickoff coin toss Auburn won toss, deferred to second half. Auburn defends South goal. Eagle Flight Spirit from flagpole attendance 86,700 Former Auburn Sid Buddy Davidson was honored prior to the game for attending his 700th consecutive Auburn football game, a streak that began November 2, 1957. Team notes Auburn has won 3 straight SEC games by at least 20 points for the first time since 1987-296 over Florida, 387 over Mississippi State, 4,815 over Vanderbilt. The last time Auburn scored 40 points against 3 straight SEC opponents came across the 2013 and 2014 seasons, 59 vs. Missouri 2013 SEC Championship, then 45 vs. Arkansas and 41 vs. LSU to open 2014. Auburn has scored 40 points in 3 straight games for the first time since 2013 to 62 vs. Western Carolina, 45 at 7 Texas A&M, 45 vs. Florida Atlantic. Auburn's 144 points in its first 3 SEC games, 51 vs. Missouri, 49 vs. Mississippi State, 44 today are the most in the first 3 SEC games in Auburn history. Previous 114 in 1983 beat Tennessee 37-14, Kentucky 49-21, MSU 2,813. Greater than Auburn is now 3,111 all-time against Ole Miss, including a 153 advantage at Jordan-Hare Stadium. 10 of the last 14 games in the series have been decided by double digits, including 5 by at least 20 points. Auburn's first possession of the game was its longest touchdown-scoring drive of the year by time, 506. The Tigers' 194 yards in the first quarter were Auburn's most in any quarter this season. Auburn's 391 first-half yards were the second most in a first half in an SEC game in Auburn history. Auburn finished with a season-high 561 total yards and, with 511 yards last week vs. Mississippi State, has 500 yards in back-to-back games. Last time vs. Arkansas 632 and Ole Miss 554 in 2016. Auburn has held opponents without a first-quarter touchdown in 10 of its last 11 games. Auburn's 32-point halftime lead was its 4th largest in an SEC game in history. In SEC play, Auburn is 14 of 14 in the red zone with 12 touchdowns. Individual notes offense Kerryon Johnson scored 3 touchdowns on the day, giving him 12 on the season and 27 in his career. Johnson has scored 11 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 games, 5 at Missouri, 3 vs. Mississippi State, 3 vs. Ole Miss. The last Auburn player to rush for 11 TDs in 3 games was Peyton Barber in 2015, 5 vs. San Jose State, 2 at Kentucky, 4 vs. Arkansas. Johnson moved up to 27th in career rushing. He now has 1,607 yards. Today he passed Monk Gafford 1,414, Cameron Petway 1,432, Cam Newton 1,473, Tommy Laurino 1,486, Terry Henley 1,534 and Rudy Johnson 1,567. Johnson rushed 28 times for 204 yards, both career highs. It was his 6th career 100-yard game and 3rd of the season. He also had a career-high 227 all-purpose yards, previous 146 rushing vs. Elm, 2016-18 all-purpose vs. LSU, 2016. Johnson's 204 yards were the most by an Auburn running back since Cameron Petway had 236 at Ole Miss in 2016. Jarrett Stidham finished 14 of 21 passing for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. In his last 4 games, Stidham is 72 of 91, 79.1% for 1,081 yards and 5 TDs. Stidham's 75-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Davis in the first quarter was a career-long reception for Davis and the longest completion for Stidham at Auburn. Davis' touchdown catch was Auburn's longest play from scrimmage this season. It was also the longest touchdown reception by an Auburn player since Jason Smith caught a 77-yard pass from Jeremy Johnson vs. Alabama in 2015. It was Davis' 3rd receiving touchdown of the season, matching the team leader for Auburn from 2016 Tony Stevens. Davis now has 31 receptions on the season, which matches Tony Stevens' team-leading total from 2016. Darius Slayton's 19-yard touchdown catch on the first play of the second quarter was his second career TD. Individual notes: defense: Jamel Dean had a career-high 7 tackles, previous 4, twice last versus Mississippi State. Derek Brown had 2.0 tackles for loss, including half a sack, tying a career high. He also tied a career high with 6 total tackles. Brown now has 3.5 career sacks. Jeff Holland recorded half a sack, giving him 7.0 for his career and 4.0 this season. Jordan Peters had a career-high 3 tackles. Chandler Wooten had 4 tackles, doubling his previous career high of 2 set last week versus Mississippi State. Trevion Leonard had a career-high 2 tackles. Devin Juice and Jacob Roberts had their first career tackles. Individual notes: special teams: Daniel Carlson became the SEC's all-time scoring leader with 14 points today, 3 FG, 5 Pat, giving him 413 career points. He passed former Georgia kickers Marshall Morgan 407, Billy Bennett 409 and Blair Walsh 412 on the all-time SEC scoring list to set the new record. Carlson extended his SEC record for consecutive extra points with 5 Pats today. He is now at perfect 167 of 167 on extra point attempts in his career. As a team, Auburn has 194 consecutive Pats converted, the 4th longest active streak nationally. Noah Igbinogene returned the second-half kickoff 70 yards, the longest non-scoring kickoff return for Auburn since 2010. Oddix.com is your home for buying tickets to Auburn athletic events. Shop for your favorite summer items at the Auburn Tigers official online store.